For our second card for our March technique time, this is what kind of a frou-frou card. There's really no techniques in this one. It's just a fun card. And I want to show it to you. I'm making it a different one going this way, but I wanted to show you just the funness of this. So my designer paper, I just flipped it over and I'm using the back side of the paper. But if you have paper and you may not have the backside, or the backside might not thrill you, just a coordinating is all you need down here. And the card that I'm going to make this time, and I put a little bit of sparkle and fun on that one, is this one with free as a bird. And then I just did a simple inside, leaving a lot of room to write. So what I did with the first, by the way, is I love this stamp set. It was a walk in the woods, and I just used, one of the larger images, and I masked, and that's how I got this guy in front of that. Okay, mask is you stamp on an image that you want it to be in the front. Okay, so I stamped my mushrooms first. Excuse me, I stamped my little guy first, then I covered him, and then I stamped my mushrooms. And then when I pull him away, he's in front of the mushrooms instead of the mushrooms going through his body. So that is a lot of fun. And then the free as a bird, I thought, I wonder if I just tried something more long and go the other way to see how this card works doing that. And I don't have it all. So basically all you need is a cardstock that is your 4 1/4 by 11. So it's cut long ways on an 8 1/2 by 11, cut down long ways, and then scored at 5 1/2. And then I went ahead and cut off the bottom, and I believe it was, what did I cut off? I think it was a 1 1/4 inch off the bottom of it. All right, so that gives me this fun little base. The seaside, well, what I'm going to do then is I have a 4 by 4 piece of my designer paper. In this case, this one's hydrangea. And this is the back of hydrangea, which I'm not using on my card. I used something else that coordinated. And then a 4 by 4 of Whisper White, or Basic White now we call it, which will go on the inside of the card. 3 1/4 by 4 of the same color, that's your base. And then 3 1/2 by 4 1/4, which is just the next size up. So these will mat nicely. Okay. In your instructions, and I do apologize, I forgot to leave off the quarter. So 3 1/2 by 4 1/4, not 4. All right. So here we go. Again, super simple card. This is 1 by 4. It's also from the same hydrangea pack, but it was a scrap I had with a bigger image, same colors, but it was a different piece. And I just liked how it coordinated. So that's what I'm using there. And I think I have everything. And this is 3 by 3/4, and that is going to go on the top of my card. Okay, that's what I'm going to do my actual stamping on. So to start the card, very simple. You have just a bunch of layers, basically. So the first thing I'm going to do is lower my camera so you can see what I'm going to do. All right. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is put on my paper. And again, I'm just going to use liquid glue. But, if you have a tape runner, use that. This is not going to be holding any mechanisms like our other card did. So it's really not going to be a big deal. I like this because I can wiggle it if I don't have it where I want it. All right. So I have that down. Now I'm going to open up and I'm going to go ahead and take care of the inside of my card. And I'm just going to make sure that it's just kind of even where I want it to be on the edges there. Some people might say, again, I'm living dangerously. I should stamp it first, but I'm not worried about that today. But you can, certainly stamp yours first. And I'm just going to put it where it looks like it's got a nice little even border going all the way around. And then I'm going to glue on my little paper. This card is just such a fast and easy card. If you want something that's just a little bit different, then this is a fun card. Okay. So I left a base where it's even going around there. Pretty simple. So far, so good. All right, now I'm going to stamp on my thing. Really, any image, if you have a medium, large size image, just something to fill this, that's going to just be perfect for this type of a card. Sometimes you might want to even, if you had like a scene or, a couple things you could put on the card. But you want to have this more filled. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put it at an angle. Not too much of an angle. There we go. Now, if you have something that you were putting a couple stamps together, this is when it would be probably really good to use your stamparatus. All right, I'm doing memento because I am going to be coloring with both markers and I'm going to be coloring with, let me use the other side of this, my Stampin' Blends. So my bird's beaks, I didn't want orange for some reason. I just thought, And I found that crumb cake really seemed to work for that. And my little brush, I don't know if you can see this, but it's gotten a little bit fuzzy. So I tried to actually snip it with scissors. And I thought, well, that'll stop the fraying. I'm not so sure that was the grandest choice that I could have made, because it seemed to fray more. So I think it's just when things get really well loved, it might just be time to go ahead and buy a new one because they're not that expensive. So now I am taking, this is Old Olive, and I'm just coloring, getting the base on there first before I go back with my darker color to take care of the shadowing and the shading of this. That's one thing that's really nice. Oops, that's the one. This is the one that I was talking about. I don't know if you can see that. So I think it's just time I buy a new one because this is making it a little bit not how I want it to look. But that's okay. It's art, right? All right. I'll go back with this one because that was kind of needing to be blended a little bit better. So I find that there are colors that I might tend to gravitate to a little bit more than others, and I wear them out. With our blends, they come automatically in a pack of two, a lighter and a darker, as you know. So just look at it instead of like, oh, I only want the one. Just look at it and go, well, you know what? I always get a bonus. So I don't have to worry. And I'm just coloring all of my birds. I don't want to take too much time, but I don't want it to be sloppy. And I know that you're coloring along with me. So I'm just trusting that you have something that's taking a little bit of your time as well. going to go back with my dark color. My center bird on this one, I wanted him to kind of stick out because he's kind of standing in front more. So I started to pull in some of the purple color. Um, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can see him here, but I pulled in some of the purple lavender color. I shouldn't say purple, I should say lavender, because I was like, well, I really want him to kind of be a little bit more. All right, so there. And let's go to that. And I can't remember if I did the dark or if I did the light, but I'm just going to pull it with this. Now, does the bird really, in real life, does he really have that color? No, probably not. So I'm going to go back with my blue and just kind of give him a little bit of a darker blue in here and blend it in a little bit more. Just so, I don't know if you can see that, but just so he looks a little bit better. And I realize now that I did not turn on high definition like I had on my other one. So I apologize if this, hopefully this video is not looking blurry, I hope. Now, my other card, I kind of layered these flowers in colors by using both markers, but I want to show you that you can take, this happens to be the darker color, but you can just go over what you already have and it's going to make it two-toned as well. So while it's really nice and neat to have the two colors, it creates more of a, I don't know if you can see this in here, but it right over here, but it creates more of a color variation by using the two together than it does one and going over it again. All right, so now simple, all we're going to do is mount our layers. Now do not glue it on to your card until I show you a very important thing that you are going to need to know. So just be patient if you're waiting on me. Because it's not what you think. You do not want to go and slather a bunch of glue on the back, because remember that little part that we had cut off of our card? Well, this little layered stuff is going to hang over. And if you put glue all the way down on that, it's just not going to be pretty. All right, so let's go back to my card. So what I'm talking about is lay it down first and take a look, get it where you want it to have the borders that you want it to have. And then what I do is I kind of take my finger and make a little nick on the back because, or I just go, oh, it's just kind of a fat finger. So when I put my glue on, I am going to be from my fat finger over. All right. So, and I don't even have to get really close to my fat finger. And yes, my finger is fat. I've had too much snacks during COVID. It's really bad when you say, boy, I feel like I weigh more now. The most I've ever weighed outside of being pregnant. Okay, so just going to put that little puppy on, layer it down, and voila. Had we not done that, if you put glue here, it would have sealed your card permanently shut, and that would have been a holiday disappointment. Okay, so what I did with this is I took two of the images and I just put them together on the block because I didn't want to worry about lining everything up, and it was just a lot easier to have it as an all-in-one. So I'm going to stamp the inside like that. And then I am just going to put a little bit of shading with my little Stamp and Blend. Again, I'm going to come in with my darker on this one. my little fuzzy darker one. And I'm going to bring in a little brown just to get that hint going there for color. And that, oops, that is the end of my card. Although I put sparkle on this one, I'll go ahead and put sparkle in the sky again. The reason I did that is I really wanted a focal point since my sentiment says, thanks for being you. Um, these are they coordinate with hydrangea paper, and they are the little pearls, pastel pearls, and they're a lot of fun. And I will have to confess, when I put them on, I just went nutso. And I'm not sure I'm a real fan of this. Um, and it's kind of almost a fun, clean, simple card without it. So again, I'm for this card, I'm just going to leave those pearls off. But you can do whatever you want with the pearls, and there's the rule of threes or odd numbers, and I didn't have a plan in my mind. So once I started putting them down, and I was like, oh no, now I have to, oh no, now and I just totally OCD'd it. So there you go. With and without, they're both very fun cards that anybody would be delighted to have, and just a little bit of a different twist to just your common card. All right, I'm going to stop recording, and can't wait to see yours.